Hey everyone, CPO here, and in this video, I'm going to be talking about the order of the shades. And when I say shades, I mean black, dark gray, gray, and white on the Ratta Supernote A5X. The order of the shades, and that's going to vary depending on the tool you have selected, whether or not you have the fine liner or the pen. Those are the same, or the marker is going to have a different layering of these shades. And I'm also going to talk about the eraser function and how it works. And it actually, spoiler alert, is quite different than the Remarkable and way better in my opinion, because it erases, which is, I know, crazy. But first, let's talk about shades and how laying down different shades on top of one another without necessarily layering the notebook that you're in changes how things react to one another. So I'm going to start out with the fine liner. The first one, I've got it set at a 2mm size, which is pretty big. And I'm going to start with black. And then I'm just going to show you how this works. So black. And then this is the dark gray. Don't panic about those two different shades there, because watch. Boom, once it refreshes, they're all the same shade. There is no sense of layering and having different shades of the same tone like you can with the, say, the highlighter in the Remarkable, which, take it or leave it. I don't really like the way that works on the Remarkable, but that's just me. And then white, which is really the same color as nothing. Black laid over by dark gray, laid over by light gray, laid over by white. Now, it will do it the other way. Of course, white is the color of our background, so no change there really visibly that you can see. But we switch to light gray. We switch to dark gray. And we switch to black. So what did we learn here? Whichever color you lay on last takes priority, right? Makes sense. And that is exactly the same for the ballpoint pen. Same exact function. I don't need to go through it. It's going to look just like that. Where things differ, however, is in the marker function. The marker function has a defined set of layers, and there's an order that they will lay on top of one another. So let's start with the light gray. Now we will move to the darker gray. And now, finally, we will move to black. Okay? Let's do it the other way around. Black. Dark gray. Light gray. See a difference here? No matter which order I laid them down, the darker color will always rise to the top. So different than the pens, where whichever one is laid last is on top. With the marker, they go in order of luminance: dark on top, middle, the lighter gray, and then the white. Except white has this unique ability to lay on top of everything. So black will lay on top of everything. White will lay on top of everything. So getting a little bit confusing, I know, but so if you're not getting the results that you're expecting, it's probably, if you're in the marker, it's probably due to this weird layering of colors. And it has to do with the fact that they're ordered in luminance, where the darker color rises to the top. The exception of that is white, and then how other colors interact with white is basically the same as it would be on the background layer, unless there's some other color in play. Got that? Okay, so how do we use this information? Well, first of all, if I wanted to draw something, let's say like this tree right here, and then I wanted to fill that in with another color. Let's say we'll make the trunk a darker gray, and we'll make the canopy a lighter gray. I want you to notice what's happening with regard to my outline and the fact that it is being covered by the new color. Right? So what that means is normally what I would need to do is either lay the outline last or go over it again last, or use layers to affect that. And I can show you that here in a minute. But with that said, if we switch to the marker, do the same exact thing. We're going to draw this tree. Now look what happens. Because the black stays on top, I can easily fill this in without losing any of my outline. I don't have to be precise. I can just draw right over that. So that might be cool and useful for people to know about, right? I didn't have to do anything fancy with layering. Now, the way I would do this with layers, if I was using, say, smaller, obviously the marker is one size and it's, fairly large. You can do the same thing with layers. Let me switch to a new page. So let me switch back to this guy here. Oops, wrong color. Back. Go back to a dark. Well, that's an ugly tree. So if I wanted to fill this in, what I could do is add a layer, move it down below the main layer, activate it, switch to my color. We'll do the canopy first. And you see here, I get what appears to be the same result as before, but hang on. I don't want to spoil it for you, but just wait for it. Remember, I'm drawing on a separate layer. Boom, and it just went underneath. And this little guide here shows you what layer you're on. Not a lot of people realize that, but it shows you which layer is selected. Now, obviously, I'm selected on layer 1, but you can see it right there in that diagram. The bottom layer is the background, layer 1 is the one I'm selected on now, and the main layer is the top layer. So I'm underneath the top layer. And that's how I would affect this if I was using different pen sizes. The interesting thing is it looks like you're drawing over, but you're actually not, because then it's going to refresh down to the bottom layer. So that's how that works. So kind of interesting, I think, to know how the different shades lay on top of each other, but I was mostly sort of fascinated by the fact of how it works with the marker here, and how no matter what order you lay them down, they will always look like this with the darker one on top. No matter what. So let's talk about erasing. And erasing is sort of fascinating to me too, because it has unintended consequences if it does something other than what you expect. So let's go ahead and, yeah, let's make this, so I'm gonna draw this here, and then I'm gonna draw this, and I'm gonna draw this, and I'm gonna fill these in real quick. And basically what I'm going to be doing is showing you the difference in behavior between using an eraser and using white shade, lack of color, right? So this is going to be white. I'm just going to draw white right there. Okay. Now for this one, let me put it to the stroke. I'm going to erase right there. Now, visually, as they sit right now on paper, they look the same. But here's where they differ. I'm going to select both of these, and I'm going to drag them down over this black bar. What do you think is going to happen? Yes. So see this? This is white, and it stays white on top of, I mean, we're literally just dragging it on top of this other section here. This is erased, and it's truly erased because you can see through it. It does not exist. That does not exist. So when you erase something, you really are erasing something. And I've been caught more than once on the Remarkable because I use the eraser tool, and really what it doesn't do is erase, it actually uses white. And as you can see, the results, matter when you're trying to move layers around. As a matter of fact, let me demonstrate that real quick. All right, and then we'll do the same thing we did before. All right, so now let's take our white, and we will draw white just like we did before. And then we will use our eraser to erase, right? White and erased. Let's see what happens when we select these up and drag them down. Interesting, right? This was the one we erased. It actually just made it white. It wasn't clear. It wasn't see-through in the way that it was on the Supernote. So that gives unintended consequences. So that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you on the next one.